You can't live in the past, but you can learn from it. We're continuing to read through our Bible in the year, and we're looking at Deuteronomy chapters 1 through 3. And Deuteronomy, it's a word that means the second giving of the law. Moses is at the bank of the Jordan River. He's about to pass all the leadership over to Joshua, and Joshua is going to lead the nation of Israel into the promised land. Moses is not able to go in, and so he's given his last will and testament to the second generation who came out of Egypt. The first generation died in the wilderness, and so now the second generation needs to hear all the things that he's already taught in the book of Exodus and Leviticus. And so a lot of this is going to be repetition, and some people can get bored of this, but I think there's some interesting insights into what are some of the things that Moses really wants the second generation to know. First of all, he wants them to know their story. There's a lot of power and importance in hearing Bible stories and Bible history, and that's what he does. He tells the history. He talks about how they came out of Egypt and how they were at Mount Sinai and how they left and how God appointed leaders and how spies entered into the promised land to check out the promised land, and the unfaithfulness of their fathers and why they had to stay in the wilderness for these last 40 years. And he seems a little bitter. He seems, you were the ones who kept me from going into the promised land. And he also talked about the faithfulness of God as they've met some of their enemies, like the Edomites and the Amorites and Sihon and Og and all these different kings that they fought, and how God was faithful to them. And just important for us to know these stories about the Bible history, about world history, about U.S. history, about our own histories, about our own families, not to live in the past, not to live in the regrets and the faults of previous generations or even our own faults, but to learn from them, to see and be aware. I like to think of it like you're driving down the street. When you're driving down the street, you keep the majority of your focus on that windshield, what's ahead. That's what you want to focus on. And yet you have these side mirrors and this review mirror so that you can pay attention, because some things from behind you are going to come up. And that's what we need to know, that we want to keep our eyes focused on the present and the future. We don't want to ruminate in the past and live in the past and live with regret. And yet we want to see that some of those things from the past are going to come up into our future. And so we want to learn from them. We don't want to make the same mistakes. We want to anticipate them and learn from them. Always knowing that what's behind us has been forgiven. What's behind us is being used by God and put us on the path that we're on right now. And so we can move forward with hope and encouragement. And that's ultimately what the book of Deuteronomy is about, is to give hope and encouragement to this next generation as they entered in the promised land. Keep reading your Bible and don't give up.